I gave her the house. It was very emotional for both of us. I mean, even though it was really tiny, it's just having that 4 walls and a door that she could lock just meant the world to her. She couldn't remember the last time she slept so good. Nobody should be homeless, especially in one of the richest countries in the world. The housing first model works. Give people a safe place to be, of their own, and they're then self-motivated to better their lives. The way we build tiny houses is kind of magic. Craft it, looking like a real house. Not only makes the structure very sturdy, but it feels like something. It feels like home.
So I was able to go in there and be able to close the door and feel secure, as opposed to being out here in the streets with no sense of security.
I've been raped 3 times, living in the tents.
Some of these gangbangers know that veterans get automatic deposits every month, and they've been rolling these guys every month for their pensions, or their benefits.
And like when you leave, people go in your tents, they go through your stuff.
It's just so hard out here, to keep a level head because there's no resources, there's nothing, you're stuck here. And day after day, it gets really, really tiring. So I started replacing tents that were the overpass bridges of freeways. It worked, and it stirred up the city where, not only did they not want to listen to any plan, they just wanted to shut me down. That's really just when the controversy really started. The councilman in that district gave the order to come and take a few of them. He sent the cops down to pull people out of the tiny houses we had built for them. They threw them up against the wall, told them they were all getting arrested and their houses impounded. We had to remove the houses and tuck them away in someone's backyard. That day that I had to go and take people's houses back from them was probably one of the worst days of my life. This is what they would rather leave than actually help these people get out of here. It doesn't make much sense.
We're homeless. Give us a chance. We don't like to live in the streets. Nobody does.
The city having 7,500 plus vacant lots, they could designate some lots or buildings that they could let people camp in. It's like, come safely be here until we figure the rest out. I will always just, keep going, keep pushing out there, and keep trying to reach as many people as I can to get involved and help me do this. And behind me here is the first mobile shower that I've been working on. People need a shower, and there's no place for people out on the street to get a shower. All of this is going to be under $2,000. It doesn't have to be expensive.
You go to the bathroom, you wash yourself up, okay? Whether you financially able to afford it, fine and dandy. If I'm not, I should not be deprived of the same.
Just so simple, food, water, and shelter. They're not optional for human survival. And it's just the right thing to do. If somebody falls down, you pick them up. That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. I started last May building tiny houses, providing temporary shelter for those that need. I've attempted along the whole way to get all kinds of people and organizations involved, including the city, but they've refused to be involved. Now the city has gone as far as to make an amendment to an ordinance forcing me to remove all the tiny houses from the streets directly while they're giving their speech to the people, saying that they're going to spend a lot more of our tax dollars and help people, but they're really evicting people. I just had to evict an elderly woman whose veteran husband is missing in the city. It's really frustrating that I seem to be the only person actually doing something now to help people, and the city is still claiming that they're helping people when they're really not. They're wiping out camps all across the city. So unfortunately today, I have to remove all my houses from these bridges and store them till I can turn it around and file a class action lawsuit.
If you needed it, more proof no good deed goes unpunished. Police cracking down on a Texas chef issuing her a $2,000 ticket for what? For feeding the homeless. Joan Cheever has been operating the Chow train for years without a problem, serving people in San Antonio like these guys who waited over 3 hours for a meal.
That's kind of like God's chorus singing when you eat it.
It's good stuff. You never know what she'll have, but it's always good, whatever it is.
But it wasn't good enough for the local government, who shut her down. Cheever is fighting back, and she joins us now with her story. Joan, great to have you on the set. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So you got a $2,000 fine. Are you going to pay this?
No, absolutely not.
Is feeding the homeless a crime? A new law in one Florida town says it is. And volunteers trying to help the homeless are getting detained by police for trying to help. Arnold Abbott, a 90-year-old veteran known as Chef Arnold, has been feeding the homeless in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for nearly 25 years with his nonprofit organization called Love Thy Neighbor. But last month, Fort Lauderdale City Commission passed an ordinance that makes it much more difficult for charitable groups to feed homeless, groups of homeless people outdoors. Those who break the law can face a $500 fine and up to 60 days in jail. But this past Sunday, Arnold and two local pastors served food to dozens of homeless people in a local park. Police broke up the food line and detained the three volunteers.
Shame on you for doing that. Shame on you for doing it. Shame on you.
Why is he being detained?
Why is he being arrested?
David Cross has lived on the streets of Sarasota, Florida since 2008, when he lost his home to foreclosure. The 65-year-old former gas station worker now spends most of his days at the local library.
The library is a safe place. It's air conditioned. You don't have to be bothered by the so-called riffraff.
One night in August, he slept outside the library, which he did from time to time. What time was it when you got woken up by the police?
About 10 past 4 in the morning.
Huh.
I was sleeping right there.
The police issued a trespass warning, which would have banned Cross from the library for an entire year.
I wouldn't have known what to do with myself.
The reason Sarasota police cited for his warning was a city ordinance against lodging out of doors, which prohibits sleeping or camping outside on public or private property without permission. Across the country, advocates say a growing number of cities have been criminalizing homelessness. According to a survey by the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty, the number of cities with citywide bans on camping or sleeping outside has increased 50% since 2011.
Being homeless is not a crime in this country.
Michael Barfield is vice president of Florida's chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union. In September, the ACLU sued Sarasota on behalf of David Cross and others, arguing criminalizing the sleeping in a public space when there is no publicly available shelter violates the Eighth Amendment prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. The suit also challenges Sarasota's ban on panhandling, arguing that it constitutes speech protected under the First Amendment.
They accumulate criminal convictions that affect their ability to obtain employment, to obtain a valid driver's license, all of these things that would help them get out of the cycle of chronic homelessness, the city is using as tools that keep them within that cycle.
Take care of your pets, keep them warm. A new Pennsylvania state law could make you a felon for mistreating or neglecting dogs and other pets outside in the cold. Libra's law increases penalties in animal neglect cases.
Don't leave them outside. The new law is pretty clear. Anything under 32 degrees, anything over 90 degrees. Your dogs are not allowed outside more than 20 minutes.
A person can face felony charges.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, you know I come back with that second video just to make you think. Now we have good Samaritans that feed the homeless, actually give the homeless shelter. But what does the government come in and do? Find them, arrest them. But then we actually have laws for animals. Now, don't get me wrong, because I feel like animals should have laws. But if you're going to tell me you can't keep a dog outside, but you can keep a human being outside, something is definitely wrong with that picture. And guys, as a human being, humanity, we must come together. Because we see with the New World Order, the plan that they have with this 5G, automation, robots, AI, is worse than being homeless. Hope you enjoyed the video. You have a great day.